way too loud. Tone that down. Okay. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. How's my hair look? Good? Great? Even? Of course it does. Actually, like, I really did not do much. Am I like, if I go back here, is it too much? No, it's good. I still need a podium. Gotta put like a little. I'm really glad that actually nobody's in here right now because nobody saw that. Ooh, one watching now. Hey. What? No. I mean, there's not really any place to put it unless you move. Unless you move that. This is my stepping space.
Huh?
Nothing. And we're gonna wait a minute for people to trickle in. Where's my mouse? I need my moderator in here.
Alan's here?
No, I said I need my moderator in here. Let me see. Are you busy? Question mark. Da 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 da. Still feel like this is kind of loud. I don't know. Somebody let me know if the music's too loud. I also wouldn't be surprised if I'm straight up just preaching to one person, because everybody's working today. We're doing something. Everybody's busy on a freaking 4 p.m. on a Sunday for some reason. Getting ready for an intern convening dinner thing right now, but I'll tune in. Yep. For as long as I can. Tism. That means thank you so much, by the way. How's everybody's day going? Anybody, are you on? You are on. Okay, so it's my mother and one other person. How's your day going? What have you done today? So I was thinking, I was like, why could I hear you that one time? Remember when I kept giving the microphone to you? And it's because I was listening to myself on the, this was a different time. Yeah. Now I got 3 people. That third person's Fallon. So.
Hi, Fallon.
Fallon, my mom says hi. Okay. It might just be the 3. I don't know. The second person I think is you. I just have 3 viewers. Huh. Hi. Found my moderator on literally everything. Alright. I think we might just start. Cause yeah. I also want to turn this music off. I'm kind of getting sick of it. Oh, I need a timer. Thanks for reminding me. I say to myself, timer. Okay, let's make this a stopwatch. I'll just go for that. So there's no beep 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 beep. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Okay. Let me know again if the music is like overpowering me at all, and I'll. Whew. Already, yes. Got really loud really quick. Okay. Maybe I'll give it one more minute till 4:05 and then I'll get started. Today's gonna be a fun topic. There's a lot of people that I almost considered just not doing it today. Because a lot of people I wanted to watch this that aren't gonna be able to watch this because they're working. So it's like, what's even the point? No, they can go back and watch it. If they really care that much, they'll go back and watch it. This is my bookmark for today, the Helm of Comprehending Languages. While wearing this helm, you can use an action to cast a Comprehend Languages spell from it at will. So, that and the Sending Stones. I'm not going to read all that. It's a really long sentence. Is it 4:05 yet? They can watch the replay. Exactly. It is 4:05. All right, let's get started then. Let me, hold on, get my water ready. Okay. All right. Y'all ready for today? Can we get a thumbs up? Just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Thank you anyway. All right. So today, let me know if the music's good while I'm talking. But today, we're going to be talking about a topic that comes up a lot in my life when it comes to new believers, or not even new believers, but people that don't believe in my life. All the atheists / agnostics. A lot of times it's people who, stepping out of view, who were either once in the church and walked away from it, or just people who never went into the church. Thank you, Fallon, for the thumbs up. But it's church hurt. Gonna talk about church hurt. I'm trying to do. Oh, I never even started my timer. Ooh, gosh. I'm trying to do more of an intro for these now, because I don't really have I need to start introducing my topics. But yeah, church hurt. Like I said, that's something that comes up a lot when I talk to people. Mod me. It sounds like an awful idea. It comes up a lot when I talk to people that aren't believers in my life. I'm like, why? Why don't you follow Jesus? What stops you? And a lot of the time I'll hear church hurt. And so today we're gonna address that. I think it might be maybe a two episode, just because I don't know. We'll see how much I cover in this time, but I have a feeling it's not gonna be much, because I feel like I'm gonna talk about it a lot. But let's start with this point. I want to just get it out of the way because I think it's something that's really important to understand, and it's a question, and it's something that I always ask anytime anybody tells me nowadays that the reason they don't follow Jesus is because of church hurt. I ask them, did Jesus hurt you, or did people hurt you? And every time it's people. Something I also hear a lot is they'll say that Christians are the worst people they've ever met. And when you hold somebody at such a high standard and they don't meet that standard, then of course they're going to seem like the worst person ever. But we'll talk about that a little bit too. But yeah, we'll go over that. But addressing, I don't want to be a hypocrite, and I can acknowledge that there is a such thing as church hurt, right? There have been Christians in my life that have hurt me, and I think that as humans we have to understand that everybody is human, right? Doesn't matter if you follow Jesus or not. Everybody's human, and we're gonna make mistakes. But to the Christians out there, I want to start with a point from Matthew 7. Let me flip to it. So we'll be in Matthew 7, 1 through 6. It's going to be a kind of weighty topic right off the bat, but I do hear this one a lot when it comes to church hurt and Christians. But Matthew 7, 1 through 6. This is an ESV, by the way. Let me pick this up so I'm not looking away from you guys. All right. Judge not that you be not judged, for with the judgment you pronounce you will be judged, and with the measure you use it will be measured to you. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when there is the log in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you." Okay, so let me start this off with saying that judgment can absolutely lead people to walk away from God or the church. I feel like that's one of the main reasons that we have church hurt, is because we feel judged, right? People feel like, oh, you look at me as just some imperfect being, as some like unholy demon. And there are some Christians that, do look at people that sin like that. But then you think about it, it's like, wait, don't we all sin? So before I get too deep into this judging topic, first, in the church, anyone is welcome, right? Hold on. There we go. You want to, I say that, but you want to come as you are, don't stay as you are. Like, we all started somewhere. We all have walked into the church broken before. But the goal is to leave healed, right? And so a lot of people, there's been times where I've heard stories of churches that will turn away people because of their past. Like a drug addict trying to get clean and trying to turn to Jesus, and they'll turn him away because of his drug addiction. I've also heard of a church that turned away a lady because she got pregnant before she was married. But you think about it, you don't wash your hands before you get in the shower, right? That doesn't make sense. And I feel like for some reason, sometimes like people get in the mindset of like, I'm at church, anybody that walks through those doors should be a believer and should be willing to, raise their hands and dance to the worship and listen to the sermon and take notes. But it's like, some people are coming to heal. Some people haven't been healed. Some people are broken, right? And it's not the healthy that need a doctor. Like, people don't go to the doctor because, man, I feel really good today, Like, we go to Jesus. We should go to Jesus with anything, but a lot of the times people will go to Jesus because they're so broken, right? And it's just like, we are never going to be perfect. We're never going to be perfect because we're human, right? We were born into sin, saved by the blood, but we're never going to be perfect. Let's go to Isaiah 55. Flip the page. Isaiah 55. 55. There we go. I'm going to read this entire thing. It's only, well, maybe not the entire thing. I could. Maybe, yeah, I will. Okay, Isaiah 55. Once again, this is ESV. Come, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and he who has no money, come buy and eat. Come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which does not satisfy? Listen diligently to me, and eat what is good, and delight yourselves in rich food. Incline your ear and come to me. Hear that your soul may live, and I will make with you an everlasting covenant. My steadfast, sure love for David. Behold, I made him a witness to the peoples, a leader and commander for the peoples. Behold, you shall call a nation that you do not know, and a nation that did not know you shall run to you, because of the Lord your God, and of the Holy One of Israel, for he has glorified you. Seek the Lord while he may be found, call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to the Lord, that he may have compassion on him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain and the snow come down from heaven, and do not return there, but water the earth, making it bring forth and sprout, giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goes out from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose, and shall succeed in the thing for which I sent it. For you shall go out in joy, and be led forth in peace. The mountains and the hills before you shall break forth into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the cypress, instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle. And that shall make a name for the Lord, an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. Okay, so there's a lot there, obviously. A lot of nature, too. I don't remember there being that much nature in that. I think I stopped at, like, verse 9 when I was doing this, but it's all right. So, let's look at Isaiah 1. Or, sorry, 55:1. My bad. Come, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and he who has no money, come buy and eat. Come buy wine and milk without money and without price. So, this is kind of showing, actually, let me read 7 as well. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to the Lord, that he may have compassion on him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. So both of those, right, are showing it's straight up God saying, come to me no matter if you have money or not, right? Come to me no matter if you're wicked or if you're unrighteous, right? It doesn't matter how you are, because it says, let the wicked forsake his way, right? He wants you to come, but he wants you to, once again, come as you are, but not stay as you are. Let him forsake his way, and let the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him forsake his thoughts, right? So you forsake your old ways, you forsake your unrighteous thoughts, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. Right? That's why we go to church. That's why we follow the Lord, is to be pardoned of our sins. Hold on. And then come everyone who thirsts. Everyone who thirsts. Let me read you what my Bible says. So come everyone who thirsts. The invitation is urgent in tone and universal in scope. It addresses a deep spiritual longing to seek the Lord while he may be found. This thirst is not a problem, but an opportunity. Right? We all thirst for something. And the Lord can provide everything. And I want to talk about really two as well. It says, why do you spend your money? And it's not talking about real money, right? It's talking about your unbelief, because unbelief is costly and unfulfilling. It's, I mean, for sure in the end, it leads to death, right? But it's also, I mean, I just like comparing my life now versus how I was before I'd given my life to the Lord is like night and day, right? I mean, in the, like Wednesday and Thursday, I think it was Wednesday. It might have been Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday. I know it was Wednesday for sure. But in the span of 2 days, I had probably 3 doors opened for me by the Lord. And that was just a result of me being obedient to him, right? And listening and doing whatever he said. And I mean, like, I got confirmation to I'm not going to get too much into the detail here, actually. But I was given an opportunity for something that I'm passionate about. And I'd given up something, and it's replacing that thing that I'd given up. And it's like, I was so like worried about giving up that thing, but then as soon as I was like, all right, you know what, I let go of it, like he immediately was like, this is why I wanted you to do that, right? He showed me why he wanted me to give up that thing. And it just, I mean, he's not always going to do that right away. You know, there's a lot of times he'll ask you to give up something, and you're not going to see it right away. But once you do, you'll be like, that's why. Sorry, but going back to my point I was making before, the church is not, it's not a museum for good people. It's a hospital for the broken. I know everybody in my church is amazing. All the people I know in my church, great people. But like, there are times when people are broken. I mean, there's like, just recently I went up to the altar, right? I went up to the stage. I guess it's the stage for us, but it's an altar, the metaphorical altar, and I knelt and wept, right? It's not, I mean, yes, most days for me are good, right? Most days are great. I like to do the lyrics. I like to do the live stream audio. I like to sing and worship and take notes, talk to everybody and be happy. But sometimes, you know, I have to go up to the altar and I have to go kneel and cry because I'm so broken. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I'm taking that to him and he's healing me. Something else I want to bring up too, with like the whole point of coming to church as you are, is he doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Look at Mark 2:17. Hold on. I think that's just my me citing my sources. But if you go to Mark 2:17, and I literally just skipped it perfectly. 2:17, and when Jesus heard it, he said to them, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners." That actually kind of proves my other point too. Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. See what I'm saying? I'm not just making this stuff up. I'm taking a drink of water. I've been talking a lot. I hope you guys shouldn't hear me swallow. Okay. But on to this point of God calling the unqualified. How much time do I have? Oh, I got 15 minutes left. God used many who were unqualified. I mean, let's go down the list. This is just a few examples. We got Matthew, a tax collector who was like seen as hated by the Jews because they were working with the Romans and stealing money from the Jews. So tax collectors were hated by other Jews. Simon Peter, he was quick to anger, had a horrible temper, but I mean, he was the leader, right? He was seen as the leader. He was the rock. Moses, he feared to speak out, even when he was told directly by God to speak out. He had a speech problem, right? Paul, here's where we get a little bit more extreme here. Killed Christians. Like, he literally, his like purpose in life, his goal, what he was doing was like, you know what? I'm gonna go as far as I can, as wide as I can, and kill as many Christians as I can. Literally just out and killed Christians because he wanted to. And Jesus used him. I mean, he wrote most of the New Testament, right? Yeah. And then David committed adultery with Bathsheba. I mean, like I said, the list just goes on. And those are all like big names in the Bible. Matthew, Simon Peter, Moses, Paul, David. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't take a perfect man to make a difference. I mean, we had Jesus, and he was the only one that could make the difference we needed. But then all those people, like, they supported him. They led up to him. He killed Christians because he thought that's what God wanted him to do because he was Jewish. Yes. Thank you. Let me retake that because I really don't want Fallon to add that in. He killed Christians because he thought that's what God wanted him to do because he was Jewish. No, but like, Jesus was the perfect man that made the big change. But so many people led up to that, right? Moses and David, people supported him like Matthew and Peter, and people carried on his legacy like Paul. And it's just, none of them were perfect. None of them. Not a single one. Except Jesus. Jesus. All right. Hold on, I actually think I skipped a point up here. Yeah, let's read Isaiah 55, 8 and 9. We're going back to Isaiah. 55, 8 and 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. So, the importance of this is, how do I say this? So, none of us are perfect. I'm going to keep saying that because I need it to get into people's minds. Doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not. We're not perfect. And something that I feel like Christians think sometimes is that because we're a Christian, like, we're better. No. What this scripture is saying is God, right? The heavens are higher than the earth. His ways are higher than ours. His thoughts are higher than ours. So he knows better than us. So there's no point in us, like, thinking that we're better than other people because we have him on our side. He is better than us, right? Not we are better than them. That's not, no. And so no matter what, too, we're still gonna be not perfect because he is always up there. He's always right a step ahead. But I don't even know why I included this point in here, but I put, some people think relationship over religion means they're okay with sin. And I think that it kind of plays into church hurt, right? That, like, idea of putting relationship first before religion, before that legalism. And that's not true. They still want you to leave your sin behind, right? They think that they think that relationship over religion means you're okay with sin, but it's not true. It's you're okay with them walking out of their sin, right? It's okay with them. You're okay with them coming into church as they are, rather than being perfect as soon as they walk in the door. I'm gonna tell a story. So I have 10 minutes. I got time. I might actually be able to get. I might be able to get through this. Might go a little long. But we're gonna talk about so we had a fellowship day at my church. It was like a round table, and I talked with this girl who, at a church she used to go to, they had an analogy that there's two lines. One line is you, one line is Jesus. Jesus' line is going to be always perfect. So, always going to be going straight up, never deviating, never curving, never tilting. Your line is parallel with Jesus's, right? But every time you sin, now keep in mind, this is the story that the analogy that her church would use, in her old church. But your line, parallel with Jesus's, every time you'd sin, you deviate a little bit more away from Jesus, and you sin again and it goes a little bit more. Maybe it'll tilt, maybe it'll curve, maybe it'll break off for a second and come back. And what I was saying is, you had to be perfect, right? You had to be like neck and neck with Jesus, but you never could be. Like, you'd have to keep trying to get that line back to be next to his, but not in a sense of being with him in relationship, but matching him in like perfection, right? You had to work to be worthy. That line was measuring your worth, rather than your relationship with him. And that is a good I wrote segue into next chapter, but I'm not going into that part, so I'll use that segue again later. Thing is, let's look at let's go to Matthew 23. We're gonna kind of just mess around in Matthew 23 a little bit, because this is a fun one, really fun one. So this is talking about a lot about legalism, and about, I mean, really what this is specifically talking about is the Pharisees. But we'll kind of just like I said, we'll just kind of bounce around a little bit in here. I don't think I have any specific verses that I want to go through, but you guys can read it on your own time. But it's, I mean, he says, "Woe to you," at least 3 times. I'm sure he says it more. Yeah, I mean, he says it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 7 in there. Right? Is there 7 woes? 7 woes. Whoa! Sorry, I hope that wasn't loud. 7 woes. Yeah, oh yeah, it literally says 7 woes to the scribes and Pharisees. If I would read. But it's basically him calling them out for, you know, things they're practicing, or sorry, they're preaching, but they're not practicing, right? And one of the lines is, I'm not going to look for exactly, like I just quoted it on here. But you have the finest seats in the synagogues, right? They're sitting on their high and mighty seats, looking down at all the rest of the church attendees, and preaching all these things, but not doing them, right? They have all this money and this status, and that's all they care about. And he was calling them out for it. Another thing was, gotta scroll back up. Now I can't find it. No, but he was just calling them out for preaching things but not practicing them, and then, you know, calling out other people when they wouldn't do it. And it's like, which actually, let's go into this previous topic about judging. So back one more time, bouncing to Matthew 7. Back to Matthew 7. Which talks about judgment. So I've heard a lot of people say, "You're a Christian, you shouldn't be judging, it's in the Bible." And a lot of people are like, Christians can't judge. Like, if you're a Christian and you judge, you're a horrible person. A lot of people try to use that against Christians as atheists, being like, you can't judge me. And like, you're a horrible person for not following your scripture. But let's go through this. So, judge not that you be not judged. Right? A lot of people like to stop at judge not. Why? There's an entire rest of that sentence. What Paul is saying, or sorry, what Matthew is saying with, or Jesus is saying with, sorry, I just went through 3 names. What Jesus is saying with Matthew 7, 1 through 6 is, you can judge as a Christian. Because if you read verse 6, do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs. How are we supposed to figure out who the pigs and the dogs are unless we can't judge? Right? Now, with that, why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Let me read this right here. The metaphor of the log in your own eye is an intentional overstatement. Then you will see clear to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Jesus does not forbid all evaluation of judgment of others. However, only the person who feels grieved and humbled over his own sin is able to help remove the speck from others. What Jesus rules out is pride that views oneself as better than others. So what this is saying is, don't put someone else's sin above yours, right? Don't say, oh, like, you can't, you like it, it's my Bible, study Bible had said, you have to be humble and recognize your own sin first. Jesus allows us that authority to judge, right? He does not forbid it at all. Well, he doesn't forbid it as long as we're doing it from his eyes, and as long as we recognize that we sin, we're humble, and we understand that we are just as much of a person that sins as that guy over there that doesn't believe in Jesus, right? And so to say that I'm better than this person because I'm a Christ follower is not true, right? Like I said, it's not that he does forbid obviously judging if you're prideful about it, if you don't have that humility. Humility is the key for this, because imagine another Christian comes up to you. Excuse me. Imagine another Christian comes up to you and says something, but just says it with so much pride, like calls something out about you, but does it with so much pride. That's gonna not feel great, right? But if someone comes with humility and this person recognizes their own sin, this person truly follows Jesus, and comes with humility and understanding and love to tell you why they're coming to you about this thing, then is that really so bad? If they care enough about you to tell you that you're going in the wrong direction, right? This isn't right. Then is that really so bad as to oppose to someone being like, hey, you're awful? I agree. I think that anybody, not even just Christians, should not judge with a mindset of you're lesser than me, right? Nobody should judge with a mindset of you're not as good as me or I'm better than you. But if you're Christian, then you know that we've all sinned. You know that we've all been there. We've all been broken. So, dang it, I have to end. So, I encourage anybody who is a Christian in my call or my channel, what is this? A live stream. You can judge, but do it the right way. Do it from the lens of Jesus. Be humble. Humble yourself, right? Let the Lord humble you. In fact, even if you don't let the Lord humble you, he's gonna do it. And it's you either submit yourself, or you're gonna have it happen the hard way. Trust me, I know. I know from experience, and some other people know from experience. Some people have been humbled by the Lord and yet still pull away, right? And it's just understand that as a Christian, we still sin. We're not perfect. We have been saved, but we're not perfect. We're still human. And so is Johnny, who refuses to come to church and refuses to listen about Jesus. It's okay. You can go to them as a friend, as a person who loves them, as a Christian. Don't go to them as a Pharisee. Go to them as a Christ follower, not as a Pharisee. Okay, I'm gonna end it there for now. Anybody have questions? I saw it fluctuate a little bit. There's 5 and then 3 and then 4 and then 3 and then 2 and then 5 and then 2. I had a whole other section I thought I was gonna get to today, but that's okay. I'll probably bounce back and forth a little bit again when I do that next section. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm probably gonna, or if you need prayer, reach out to me if you want to talk about anything in private. If you're college aged, 6 o'clock, Coffeeology in Delaware, 18 to 25. We're not going to be IDing, so if you're 26, still come. If you're 27, still come. If you're 28, you're pushing it. But you can still come. Yeah, let me know if you guys have questions. I know there's 3 of you in here. Okay, I know there's 2 of you in here because my mom's in here. My bad. I forgot that you guys can hear me drink. Alright, well, if there's nothing you guys want to ask, like I said, you can text me, Instagram, Snapchat, Discord. I'll go. I better see you there. Get on a plane right now. You might be able to make it if you get on like a private jet. Shoot, not even. Well, Texas to Ohio. Bah. I'll see you there. Alright, I'm gonna end the stream and I'm gonna go like play Counter-Strike or Minecraft or something until it's time for me to leave. So, love y'all. If you need prayer, if you want to reach out with questions, talk about anything, hit me up. Next stream will be next Sunday most likely. I'll post anything if it changes. Are we doing anything? Okay, I'll post anything if it changes. College night tonight. 6 and 4's college night. Stocksburg up in August. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Going to a worship concert in October. Elevation Worships tour. Elevation Nights tour. What'd I say? October. Elevation Nights is in October. Which private jets to take? So many to choose from. Yeah. Alright, I'm getting out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for coming. I'll see you next week, possibly, most likely.